Hey, Carol, the other day I got a call from a former student, and he was sharing with me that his company is moving some of their interviews online for some of their open positions. They're going to have each applicant meet with three different people at the company for Zoom interviews. I think it would be their HR manager, their supervisor, and then maybe another work colleague. And he wanted to know, do we have any concerns about this? Any advice? What do you think?
Hmm. Well, let's take it apart. First, I think it's a great idea that the company is involving multiple people in the interview process. Each of those three people that the applicant is meeting with will have a different perspective, but this way the company will be confident that the applicant is being evaluated consistently across different interviewers. So that's a great thing to do. But we are seeing so many companies move to online job interviews these days, especially when they're interviewing for jobs that will be performed remotely. Online job interviews can save a company a lot of time and money. And in your student's case, the company will now be able to evaluate talent from anywhere in the world.
But there is one big disadvantage to having online interviews, and that is that applicants prefer face to face interviews. It shows that the company cares, is willing to spend the money. And so we have to think about what that might mean for the applicant. Maybe in those cases, it's important for the company to invite in for face to face interviews those applicants that really rise to the top, the applicants on their short list.
That's a great idea, Alyssa. Inviting those top ranked candidates can make them feel really special and valued by the company. But I was thinking about your student. The student asked specifically about online job interviews, but we know so much about how to conduct really good job interviews, whether they're conducted online or face to face. For example, we know that structured job interviews are always better than unstructured job interviews. They exhibit less bias and they have higher validity. That means they're going to be more predictive of on the job performance. And it's not that hard to introduce some structure into the job interview process.
You're right. It's not that hard. You can structure the interview questions, the questions you ask, and how you ask them. You know, Interviewers should really avoid questions that are open ended, like, tell me a little bit about yourself, because that invites applicants to talk about lots of different things, and then it's hard to make comparisons across them. So instead, develop an interview protocol. That's a list of standard topics and questions that you're going to ask each applicant in the same order. And you just need to make sure that those questions are really directly connected to those job requirements.
And then once you've structured the questions, you can move to structuring how you're going to score the answers. Before you even conduct the first job interview, you should already have a pretty good idea of what's going to look like a weak answer, a pretty good answer, or a really fantastic answer. Having a structured scoring key is going to give the company a lot more confidence that interviewers are evaluating job applicants consistently and fairly.
Right. So I think we have some pretty good advice from my former student. First, structure the interview on the front end, the questions you ask and how you ask them. Second, structure the interview on the back end. Think about how you're going to assess those responses to the questions that you ask. And then third, bring in for face to face interviews those applicants that are at the top of your shortlist.
That's great. That's interviewing in a nutshell.